Does it ever feel like there is no cure for insomnia out there? Or are you tired of trying absolutely everything and nothing seems to be working? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be explaining why everything that you have been trying hasn't been working. Because once you learn to approach things in a different way, that is when things start to change and you start to get more sleep. Let's start off by talking about the root cause of insomnia. Now, I know I talked about it briefly in the last video, but I want to take things one step further and explain things even more. Because if you don't understand the root cause of insomnia and you're going after the wrong approach, then you're going to remain stuck in that chronic insomnia cycle. Now, I want you to take a look at this graphic that I'm placing here on the screen. As you can see, it shows all the different things that we try to do to overcome insomnia and what their approach is to insomnia. Some get close to the root cause, but none of them actually go after it. Yes, CBTI goes after the root cause a little bit. It all starts with some disrupted sleep. Maybe you had something stressful or traumatic happen in your life. Maybe you had some medication side effects. Something was happening that caused some disrupted sleep. Well, after a few days of this disrupted sleep, we start to fear losing yet another night. It all starts with some disrupted sleep all the way from the beginning. It could have been from something stressful or traumatic happening in your life. It could be from medication side effects. It could be from anything going on that's caused some disrupted sleep. From there, we start to get worried after a few days of losing some sleep. Scared that we're going to lose some more sleep, that we're going to have to go through another day of little sleep. So we start to have this fear, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be able to get through the day? How am I going to be able to do another day at work or be a good parent? Things like that. So what happens is we start to try to control our sleep. Like we can actually make a passive process happen, which you can't, by the way. So we take melatonin, like we have a circadian rhythm issue or something like that. Or we take magnesium, we do try those online hypnosis videos on YouTube, or meditations. We try all these different things to try to make sleep happen, and we're fearing losing sleep. Looking at the bottom of this graphic, you'll see it starts with a fear-based thought. Like, what if I don't sleep again tonight? That's the root cause right there. That thought right there is what leads to that fear, feeling fearful, and trying to escape sleeplessness with the supplements, the pills, the hypnosis, the meditations, and all that. Now, because you are fearing something and trying to escape it, your brain thinks there is danger and activates that fight or flight system. Our hyperarousal levels are high at this point and are preventing us from sleeping. Your brain doesn't want you to sleep if it thinks there's danger out there. It wants to keep you safe, and you can't be safe if you are sound asleep when there's a danger nearby. As you can see, the different things we take aren't going after what is creating the hyperarousal in the first place. Instead of trying to lower the hyperarousal towards the top here with magnesium, meditation, chamomile, CBD, or whatever else, it's better to go after what is causing the hyperarousal in the first place, the fear-based thoughts. That in a nutshell is how you overcome insomnia. Boom, you're welcome. So let's talk about 3 ways that you can start to do this. Let me tell you a story about a monkey. And I promise you, this story has a huge lesson in there about how to overcome insomnia. It really does apply. I want you to picture a monkey enclosure at a zoo full of monkeys. There are monkeys running around everywhere, they're playing, and the keepers come in every day to clean up their cages, make sure they have lots of water and food. And they even bring in these jars of peanuts so they can give them little treats. Well, one day, a keeper forgot to bring his jar back in, so there was a jar of peanuts left inside of the enclosure. Well, one of the monkeys saw this jar of peanuts, and he got all excited, running over to the jar, like, yes, nobody else saw it, all the peanuts for me. So in this jar, it has a very narrow opening. So he gently, carefully gets his hand in And then he grabs a handful of peanuts. And then he tries to remove his hand and it's stuck because his fist is full of peanuts and he can't get it through that narrow opening. So he's desperate for the peanuts. Like, I want the peanuts, the peanuts. And he's yanking on his hand. He's pulling really hard. And he's desperate for it. And he's fighting it. And he's resisting it. And he's not getting the peanuts. If instead he stopped fighting it, stopped resisting it, just let go of the peanuts, let go, his hand will slide right out. And the peanuts can come easily. Guess what? Sleep is the same way. We fight being awake. We resist the sleeplessness. We try to control sleep. We try to make things happen. And it only keeps us stuck. If we just let go of chasing sleep, sleep would actually come naturally as your brain starts to learn that you are safe and there is no danger out there. We get stuck in the insomnia cycle, and that is my first tip, which is to get unstuck by letting go of the peanuts or letting go of chasing after sleep. Trust me, this is what's going to teach your brain that you are safe, and it will come back naturally with time. We have to let go of that desperation, let go of trying to control sleep, let go of resisting being awake. Let go of trying to make sleep happen when we can't. We have no control over our sleep. That's what's going to lead to more peace at night and more sleep with time. So now you might be wondering, how can you let go chasing sleep if you feel so desperate? Well, remember, that is your brain trying to keep you safe. And this next tip is what's going to help you with that. When we have insomnia, we place a lot of expectations on ourselves about how the journey should go, how fast we should overcome insomnia, how it should happen. Like, we should just be able to take a pill and voila, our sleep is fixed. We also place a lot of pressure on ourselves, pressure to sleep so that we have the energy to get through the day, so that we can do good at our job, so that we can be good parents, so that we can go out and have fun and have the energy to do it. We are expecting ourselves to overcome insomnia within a certain timeline, which is almost always unrealistic, as there are no band-aid fixes when it comes to insomnia. We can't pop a pill, listen to a meditation, do a hypnosis, or anything like that that's going to quickly fix your sleep. None of those are going after the root cause. Now, I want you to think about how those expectations are helping. Can we control things in a way so that they meet our expectations? Even closely? No. So what is the point of having them? Do they help you feel good in any way, any positive attribute to them? Or when our expectations aren't met, do we feel like there's something wrong with us? Do we feel like we're broken or like a failure? How about the pressure that we place on ourselves to sleep? When we go to lie down in bed to go to sleep, could they be adding some performance anxiety? Because in your mind, you're like, I have to sleep so that I can get through the day. I have to get sleep tonight so that I can do good at my job, and all these different reasons that we have. Or is this pressure helping you to feel more relaxed at bedtime? Probably not. Now, I'm not having you explore these different areas to make you feel bad about yourself or make you feel bad about what you're doing. I just want to help you bring awareness to what can be bringing you stuck. This is a very important step that I also had to go through. It's helpful to kind of have a filter for everything and ask yourself, is this something that's helping to bring me more peace at night, or is it creating more stress and frustration? You can start to reduce these expectations and these pressures by reframing the thoughts that are creating them. Like, I have to get sleep so I have energy to get through the day. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it throughout the day or make it through the day. And then you can reframe it to something like, I have gotten through every single day in the past. There hasn't been a single day that I haven't made it through. I can make it through one more. I'm stronger than I think. Just start listing out all these pressures, all these expectations, and reframing them. Like, I should be able to overcome insomnia within a month. Okay, how do you reframe that? I'm not a sleep expert. I don't know how long it's going to take my brain to feel safe. Everyone's brain takes different timelines. It all depends on the past. All I do know is if I just trust the process and I teach my brain that I am safe, I will overcome insomnia. And maybe you don't believe yet that you can overcome insomnia. You will start to get evidence along the way as things start to improve to help you believe that better. The more you go through this process, the better off you're going to feel mentally and physically, and help you in the long run. Now, before I move on to my third tip, I want to invite you over to my free community where you can find lots of worksheets and videos and lessons and meditations absolutely free to help you along this journey. There's also free coaching calls that you can jump on, ask questions, get advice directly from me, as well as a very supportive community with people inside of there that have overcome insomnia using exactly what I taught, so they can give you their advice as well from their own perspective. To join us, go down to the description box below, click the link, and I will see you in there. In this video, we have talked a lot about letting go and how important it is to overcome insomnia. Well, I have another way for you to start to let go of some of that control. Let's talk about the clock. So I'm going to guess that you are a master at sleep math. Now, everyone with insomnia becomes a master at it. We should get a degree in it. So you go to bed at night, you look at what time it is, you know what time you need to wake up, and you calculate, if you go to sleep now or within 30 minutes, I'm going to be able to get this much sleep. And then you're not asleep yet, you're like, okay, what time is it now? Oh my gosh, okay, if I go to sleep now, I can get a minimum of 4 hours sleep. I mean, I can get through the day if I have to on 4 hours sleep. And it just goes on all night. Even if you don't have a clock in the room, you kind of get an idea of what time it is based on the lighting outside, based on sounds around you, based on movement from other people in the home. And you start to really understand what time it is so you can continue to make these sleep math or calculate how much time you have until you need to wake up and how much sleep you might be able to get. Well, guess what? This is your brain's way of trying to keep some control. Now, I want you to ask yourself, how does it make you feel when you're looking at the clock? When you go to bed and you see the time, does it add pressure? And as the night goes on and it's later and later and you have the opportunity to get less and less sleep, is it adding even more pressure? When you look at the clock, does it make you feel stressed and frustrated, upset, or does it make you feel at peace? It doesn't feel good, does it? What I recommend instead, and what I teach in my program, is to figure out what your wake-up time is. And generally, you should be keeping around the same time every day, even if you don't sleep. Then you subtract 8 hours from it. So if you wake up at 8 a.m., you go to bed at midnight. Now, this is not the time that you're actually going to sleep. This is the time that you are removing the clocks, you are covering your clocks, you're making it so you can't see the time anywhere, even on your electronics. What I used to do is take the black electrical tape and cover the corner where the time would show. Now, once you cover the clocks and you're not able to see them, you're going to bed when you actually feel like sleeping and not a set bedtime, because you don't want to go to bed if you aren't tired. If you have a set bedtime, you're not feeling the same way every single night when you have insomnia. Sometimes you could be feeling a little more anxious and wide awake at that bedtime, and then you try to force yourself to sleep, it's going to lead to more frustration. So let your bedtime vary based on when you feel like going to sleep. That is what's going to take off a lot of pressure. That is going to feel a little more peaceful, and it's going to help you in the long run. Now, when you wake up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, or when you're just, for whatever reason, waking up, you have to resist the urge to check the clock. It's really difficult in the beginning, but as you practice this, you kind of build the habit, and it will become easier with time. And then also for me, when I started to notice how stressed I felt, I started to realize, like, what's the point? I can't seem to make myself go to sleep when I check the clock anyway, and I just feel like crap, so why? Which is my third tip, to create that 8-hour window, that timeless window of not looking at the clock and going to bed when you actually feel like sleeping. But if you want to take all these steps that we talked about in this video one step further, then I recommend watching this video that's going to pop up on the screen on either side about my #1 most important insomnia lesson. Or you may enjoy the video above it as well. Thanks for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one.